back, guys, to another...
You are too negative. Too negative. Too negative. I get behind the team. I get behind the team.
Hey, what's up, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to another part of my F1 24 career mode. This is part number 15 today for the Dutch Grand Prix in our Season 1 rookie debut in Formula 1. If you guys did miss the previous episode and you're wondering why Elena is saying we need to step it up, then be sure to go check that episode out before you see this one. Well, it wasn't even our fault. That's why it's so frustrating. I mean, what on earth is Elena waffling about? None of it was our fault. We were doing an amazing comeback drive from taking a whole host of engine penalties to get some new components, and in the end of it, not only did my engine go pop, or my gearbox rather, seize up, Lando Norris's engine went actually before mine in that race. It was a double DNF for McLaren, the worst possible result we could have hoped for. Unbelievable. And yeah, it was a new gearbox, and that seized up and went from 0 to 80% wear in one race. Unbelievable bad luck. And it means at the moment we are in fact losing our rivalry to Lance Stroll, but we've only had the rivalry for one race, and we're not close to losing it because we still have a few races to go, I assume, to try and do that. And the only reason we're losing now is because we lost some stats with that DNF. And look at this, okay? I did not think out of the two of them, Mark would be the one saying some sense. He's apologized for the engine failure. He's told us about some R&D. Elena, what are you doing? You started off as such a nice character, but now you're starting to get a little bit too aggy for my liking, okay? Look, we've just had a double DNF. This is not the right time to email, step it up. It means now that we lose first place in the Constructors' Championship as a team here at McLaren. One of you guys actually pointed out that beforehand, obviously at the Monaco Grand Prix, Red Bull were leading, and then a double DNF really derailed them there. And now we've got a double DNF here, having had a win and leading the Constructors' Championship. So that's, yeah, frustrating to say the least, but there's still quite a long way to go. You know, 24 races. It's a long old slog, and there's still, what, a good nearly basically a third of the season left, I think we're coming up to, basically. And the thing is, we're in a good position. We've got 4 different performance upgrades on the car. So we've got 2 aero, an engine, and a chassis upgrade in the pipeline. So we will be gaining back some good performance, and that chassis upgrade is going to end up failing before we get to the Dutch Grand Prix, but we will repurchase it. But the ERS upgrade is going to come in, and hopefully that halo upgrade on the rear downforce will also come in, but we'll repurchase the chassis one, which was the one I think Lando purchased in the first place. So I'll kind of do him a favor there and repurchase that. That'll come in for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which, to be fair, will be very useful, having a lighter weight chassis and major weight reduction there for that one. To be honest, we already had performance. You know, Lando was fighting for P1. It wasn't a case of we don't have the speed. It's just that unfortunate thing of having 2 DNFs in a race where Verstappen managed to recover to P1 is going to hurt the chances. You know, we need to hope that, you know, we can have our own sort of luck like that. But this is the ebb and flow of a Formula 1 championship, and just shows how tough of a task it is maybe to go up against Red Bull right now, go up against specifically Max Verstappen, to be fair, because he's doing all the heavy lifting for Red Bull in the game here, just like in real life. Having said that, making these upgrades is still obviously important, because you can clearly see the AI teams around us, they're rapidly upgrading. Remember, we've got reduced R&D, the AI have improved R&D, so they are really keeping at the pace. You've got Ferrari and Mercedes pulling away from Aston, it would seem. V-Carb and Haas getting pretty close up to Aston Martin, so soon we can have an even bigger pack chasing after ourselves and Red Bull, and you know, we're just intertwining with Red Bull every other race basically, so it continues to be a very intense arms race in terms of R&D in this season as we now go into qualifying for the Dutch Grand Prix.
Just look at that sea of orange. No surprises if I tell you we're here in Holland at Zandvoort for the Max Verstappen celebration party. It's a quick track and perfect for high speeds, high stakes qualifying. Welcome along to the Dutch Grand Prix qualifying day.
I'm going to borrow one of Lando's tried and tested jokes, and Crofty, the orange is not for Verstappen, it's for us, okay mate? The papaya team is strong here. They're all out here for McLaren, obviously, as we now barrel in to turn 1 here at Zandvoort. as we start Q1, and a little bit of a snap on the rear end as I have lowered the rear wing to make sure we make use of the straight line speed, because even though this circuit is very high downforce, of course, there is a big compromise to be had, because you can lose a lot of time on the straights if you have too much of a rear wing on there. So we've gone with quite a low one in comparison to the default setup, but hopefully that will help us out, not only in qualifying trim but in race trim then, to make overtakes as we try and re-engage in this fight with the Red Bulls. We have to bounce back, absolutely, from a double DNF. Especially now with McLaren, our team, being in the Constructors fight with Red Bull. You know, there's a real big chance for it, especially with the way Sergio Perez has been performing. You know, it's a fight of 2 against 1, v Verstappen, and he's a very strong opponent, of course. And so for Lando's sake, he needs to bounce back individually, but I'm hoping to do the same. And right now, the vibes are very much that we will be putting Spa completely behind us, and we are focused on the task at hand, using the car we have got. It's a 1-2 in Q2, but it's so close. 0.064 covering the top 3. Leclerc's up there as well, though, to be fair. You know, the R&D chart, yeah, Ferrari and Merc are behind us, but the scaling of it is getting tighter and tighter. So Ferrari might be an issue. Maybe Merc might be as well. Who knows? Let's see how this top 10 shootout goes. For sure, Ferrari are a bit of a nuisance to us last episode. You know, pre the DNF, I was having to have a massive fight with Leclerc, and we had to try and re-overtake him, of course, before the gearbox seized up. So Ferrari, well, could be a threat for us as well, and a spanner in the works, you know, one that we kind of don't want in the fight with Red Bull solely. So we're here on our first flying lap in Q3, the top 10 shootout. A little bit messy in the first few corners. I feel like we maybe left about a 10th on the table in Sector 1. Sector 2, not a purple, a green, so we're going to be not on P1 provisionally, and it's actually only P6. That is really not that great, but the lap wasn't terrible, but just definitely needs a little bit of work as we nearly find 0.2 of a second through turn 1. We lose a bit on the exit though again, so finding it tough actually. We actually do end up going purple, but the gains are very marginal, which tells me maybe things are super close in this quali as the rear end snaps away. We're a bit too eager in third gear, and now we're scrambling to try and find some time to recover this, but it's purple the first sector, green the second. It'll be red, or yellow rather, in the last sector. No time gained. That mistake was what undid it, and it's going to be P6 at best. Our first lap was the lap we set. I mean, it was close, to be fair. We were only, you know, less than 0.4 off, and that was pole position. And of course, Lando does the job, showing why he is the more senior man, so well established, the one in the championship fight. He is just bouncing back in the way he needs to, but Verstappen's there. But I'll leave that fight to him. It's him versus Verstappen. I just need to try and do the best I can to cut through the 2 Ferraris and the Aston Martin. It's mighty fine between Leclerc down to P5. So we can just try and find a bit more rhythm in the race. I'm confident we can try and maybe aim for a podium. That's surely going to be the aim. Let's go to the grid.
For years, the passionate Dutch fans have been easy to find trackside in races across Europe. Here this weekend, it's even easier to find the Dutch fans as they have a race to call their own once again. A warm welcome to all of our viewers in the Netherlands and around the globe, of course, as we get underway for the Dutch Grand Prix. 2.6 miles then make up a lap here at a very wet Zandvoort circuit, where some tricky braking zones and sudden drops can make it all too easy to slide off into the gravel. 14 corners overall, a 678-metre main straight. That will provide the best chance for overtaking. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, a McLaren, Perez, Hamilton, Russell, Stroll, Tsunoda, Ocon, Magnussen, Gasly, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Albon, Bottas, Joe, and Logan Sargent. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And alongside me for this afternoon's commentary, Naomi Schiff. Good afternoon, Notes. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, every driver certainly has their own way of preparing themselves before a race. But I can tell you that pre-race rituals are a real thing. When I was in go-karting, I used to touch every wheel in a specific sequence before I got into the kart. And then I stepped up to cars and had a specific set of fireproof base layers just for race day. So watch the drivers when they're on the grid. Some may be sitting on the floor and isolating, others may be up to other things that they do. But these little things really help their minds get ready for the race.
So it is raining here at Zandvoort, and oh no, the dry tyres. The dry tyres are on. Oh, the glitch is back. The glitch is back. Yeah, unfortunately, we somehow dodged it in Austria. Actually, thinking back about it now, I don't know how. We got very lucky that we didn't have the glitch at the Austrian Grand Prix where there was rain involved. I guess it was later on in the race, I guess. It didn't start wet. But here, we have met with the same problem that we had back in the Imola Grand Prix episode. And unfortunately, as I record this has not been patched yet. It's coming soon, I believe, in the very next patch, which is imminent this week, I hear. But annoyingly, as it stands right now, it is wet. It is intermediate conditions, I feel. And yet everyone is on the hard compound of tyre. This is going to be another very strange and chaotic race, I feel, as we get underway for the formation lap, and there's plenty of water being kicked up. We're on the hards. I don't have very much to say. It's going to be difficult. There is a temporary workaround that I did try, and it still didn't work. Basically, it's still loaded in the same scenario where we're in the wet on the hard tires. I asked for the weather report, and my engineer recognises it's wet. So my engineer even knows it's wet. So it's really just the tyre rule and the rest of the grid thinking it's, you know, well, I don't know, dry enough for dries, but it's just not because it's still wet. And our tyres are stone cold. So I am preemptively setting my tyre on the strategy screen to intermediate in case I want to bail into the pit straight away. But like Imola, I will try my best to continue on the dry tyres to see what we can do as we go to 5 red lights. It's a wet Dutch Grand Prix, lights out, and we're underway. And then we've got a few cars a bit slow. Can we go through on the left? No, Alonso cuts us off on the left-hand side there. It's a good start for Sergio Perez around the outside. Verstappen is neck and neck with Lando Norris. The championship fight is happening immediately at the front, but Lando soaks up the pressure as we try to squeeze out Sergio Perez, but the Mexican driver is actually being very, very aggressive here, and he's actually gone for it, and to be fair to him, he's got us for now, but on the exit, we're going to use quite a bit of battery, overtake mode engaged, and get back up into P5, but the grip certainly isn't, you know, fully dry, as the drivers and the tyre rules suggest, but I'm not going to lie, as DRS is enabled on lap 2 here, it doesn't feel as bad as Imola though. This feels like, and if you're watching F1 for this long, you'll know what I'm on about, this feels like Brazil 2012. Like, it looks really wet, but there's surprisingly a good amount of grip out there. So right now, this actually might not be a race in the bin. At the moment, it's looking okay. It's just a bit of a tricky situation, but I'll try and make the most of it. It's certainly not as slippery as it was in Imola, because we're just about hanging on to the back of Fernando Alonso here, and there's actually a few corners where I'm gaining on him. So let's just see how it goes, basically, tentatively through this race. And at least one thing's for certain, compared to Imola, we now have actually racy AI that want to go for overtakes, and Verstappen looks to make the overtake for the race lead. Lando's done so well so far to defend, but the Red Bull, and Verstappen specifically, is looking a bit feisty there as he just snaps at the heel, but the McLaren stays ahead for now. But, you know, with how aggressive Perez was, yeah, the Red Bull's actually not looking too bad in these conditions, annoyingly for us, obviously. But look at this then. That little fight between Lando and Verstappen's actually bunched us all up, so we're right here. This is not looking too bad. I think we can try and work with this and try and gain confidence as we go lap after after lap in these very tricky conditions. Huge snap of oversteer as I open DRS. I'm never doing that again, as Verstappen does overtake Lando Norris, unfortunately, and the Dutchman leads his home Grand Prix in front of the adoring Dutch crowd. But yeah, that was a Code Brown moment for sure in the cockpit for me. Not going to open the DRS that early through the banking again, even though technically you can, but I dared not, because that was nearly maybe a DNF. 2 DNFs in a row there, as we had to catch the car going off in a straight line. But lap 6, and after that slight error, maybe just a bit of confidence knocked a little bit, but more so it seems like the drivers around us are getting quicker and quicker as they go on through this race. And now I'm feeling a bit under pressure from Perez, Lando and Max trading fastest laps of the Grand Prix, and all of a sudden now it's maybe feeling a bit more like Imola, where Alonso's now just about breaking DRS. And it's getting a bit frustrating now. I thought, okay, it would be okay, but now we're losing grip through this one, and I'm just losing concentration. And let me be candid at this point, after the errors, after clearly the drivers around me are getting quicker and more comfortable with these conditions, I was losing a lot of motivation and concentration here, because I thought, I have to drive this now for a further 20 plus laps. This is just going to be torture. So I just want to be honest with where my head was at, basically. So I'm just trying to survive now, as we kind of lost the back of Alonso, and the temptation to maybe try the intermediate is creeping in. Oh, Alonso's lost the back end ahead of us, and he's in the wall. Surely that's going to be a safety car, or a virtual safety car. He's reversing back onto the circuit, and so we decide to come in and lean into that temptation I was already having to pit for the intermediate. But I'm just waiting and waiting. Surely there's a safety car. No? Really? Not even a virtual? Come on, FIA. That was unbelievably dangerous. How are you telling me there's not even a virtual safety car in that situation? I'm sorry, if that was real life, he had his rear end on the track still, and he was reversing back on towards where the cars were coming from. How is that not even a virtual safety car? Even with the weather glitch, the weather glitch was already bad enough, and now they don't want. Now they're just screwing around, because that's a virtual safety car minimum all day long. Because I'm pitting, no, don't bother. No, don't put it out. Let's let him suffer more. So a lap later then, lap 10, we've caught up to Fernando Alonso after that spin he had. Verstappen's still out there setting purple lap times on the hard tyres that have been on that car for 10 laps now, in a similar vein to everyone else on this grid. But on fresh intermediate, I've set a purple first sector. We've been held up a bit by Alonso here, who in turn's being held up by, oh look, it's our old pal Sargent from the last episode. You're going to lock up again, mate, and ruin that and this for me, as we set the fast lap of the Grand Prix now. Just showing, even with this blockade of 2 mobile chicanes, I'm going quicker than the race leader, because it is intermediates, just like it was in Imola. But yeah, for a brief 5 laps at the start of the race, I genuinely felt like, oh, okay, this is okay, I can deal with this. And then as soon as we made those errors and the AI started getting quicker and quicker, or I just started getting slower maybe because of the tyre wear or whatever, it just became another torturous moment. And I really was hoping for a safety car. I know I've already said it, but I'll just say it again, because yeah, that's that in real life that would have been it, and then that would have really opened up the door, because then we would have been bunched up with everyone on these inters, which right now you can see the rear left tyre is heating up quite a bit. But it's nowhere near as bad as Imola, because of the patch we had, 1.3. It did change the way tyre temperatures work in certain scenarios and conditions. I think one of those conditions is a condition like this, unfortunately, where it's a glitch situation where I'm on inters, it's wet, the tyres shouldn't be heating up this much, but they are. But at least it's not brick red internal temperature like it was in Imola. And you can see I've got decent pace, you know, as we out-traction Albon out the carousel up to P15, and then immediately closing up on the likes of Pierre Gasly, Hulkenberg, Magnussen ahead alike. So, and still setting purple sectors whilst we're overtaking these guys. Green middle sector, but yeah, purple the first. So we're still able to put in some good lap times, you know, even 4 laps later after the pits. But of course, to be fair, at Imola, we were doing that. It was about, you know, I would say, what, 6 laps 7 laps later, once we'd made the pit stop, that's when you started to see the pace wearing out a bit because of the tyres overheating way too much as Hulkenberg really goes very defensive. We set another purple lap time. I think we've set about 3 of them now. So at the moment, I mean, yes, we're down in 13th place, but at least I'm enjoying my racing a little bit now on the Inters, looking to try and overtake cars as we try and make a lovely little pass on Magnussen around the outside. That was a bit cheeky there. Very unorthodox place to make an overtake, but we've made it work because of especially the front end of these Inters. The rear tyres are heating up and definitely still a bit of an issue on traction, but the front end tyres, they're fine, and they're giving me so much biting on the front that we're able just to maneuver around these cars so easily, make these dives and get the nose turned in and float the car in as we're up to P10 now. And for the first time we can see a Red Bull again. It's Sergio Perez. After such a lightning getaway at the start of this Grand Prix, he's been pushed down to P9, even lower than Yuki Tsunoda in the V car, but now that rear left tyre is not looking so great. You know, like I said, 8 laps on from the pit stop. It's not looking too good, and I'm not really gaining anymore on Perez. I'm setting yellow sectors now, so the pace is starting to go. I'm moving to the right off racing line, trying to desperately cool down the tyres, because that was one of the big things they talked about in the release of this game, is that you can cool down the tyres by going offline, but it's just not working because it's in a glitch situation. Oh, a car's coming in. Is that Tsunoda? Tsunoda's in the pits. I didn't think they were going to make pit stops in this race. Hang on a minute. Ferrari's in. Verstappen's there. Verstappen's just come out ahead of us. Can we maybe overtake him? Could we still be in this race then? I did not think the AI were going to make a pit stop because the strategy screen just said hard tyres all the way to the end from the race start. This has just changed everything. So as we wind through Sector 2, right up Verstappen's gearbox, we make the dive because this could be a move for the race lead. The front end is gripping, the rear end isn't though. We're trying to get the rear to follow the front, but the rear end's overheating as we dive it again and drift through the corner. Literal drift, opposite lock, and we're still going wheel to wheel with Verstappen, and somehow we didn't actually even make contact with the Dutchman, even with the drift, as we're now just trying to get the power down. Verstappen has acceleration on the medium tyres, but we have the confidence into the next corner. The front end's got the grip, and we just need to get ahead of him, and then we can maybe stay there with the track position. This race has just been turned on its head. This has gone from an absolute throwaway race to now maybe could we try and win this? Could we at least maybe try and help Lando? I'm not too sure as Verstappen flies by with DRS, but constantly we just have that better grip going into every single corner, and we get back into P1, and there's Lando. Oh, bit of contact with the Ferrari. It was 3 wide momentarily. Lando almost got into second place. That would have been a McLaren 1-2 off the bat, but annoyingly Verstappen and Leclerc just had a bit too much there. But lap 21, look at the tyre wear now. The rears are really lit up, and even the front left is a bit worn out. Yellow flags for what? Oh, is it Leclerc? Leclerc slow! The Ferrari is going to be out of this Grand Prix. Oh my God, I nearly thought Leclerc was going to take out his own teammate. I really thought Sainz was about to drive into the back of the Ferrari as we try and search for water to cool down the tyres, but also trying to break the toe from Verstappen as we continuously get overtaken in a straight line because Verstappen has that corner exit, but we still have front end that is better than everyone because of the intermediates. But right now, lap 24, you can see I'm going very slowly because my tyres are so worn now on the rear end, but I'm basically trying to act like a bit of a safety car and slow them all up because, look, I've had to do a glitch race, so I'm going to drive this race how I want to, and I'm just trying to get to the end in P1, but we're now sliding about, and Lando's through. Hang on a minute, how's he done that? Where did he overtake Verstappen? Lando's just done a double pass. I wasn't even planning on letting him by. I wanted to try and just, out of spite, get this race win because of the glitch. But no, Lando's actually taken matters into his own hand, and he's overtaken us. Can we come back in, though? We've got DRS. We try and defend Verstappen whilst also chasing after Lando. Tyre on the grass. The car's round. No! Oh, it's all over. No, I'm just depressed. I'm just depressed. And we've got a penalty, and there's a red flag. Actually, hang on a minute. Red flag. Could that help us? Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. I wasn't intentionally doing this, but has the red flag just helped us out there? We could... Hang on a minute. This could change everything. This could change everything. We could change to a new set of intermediates. This is why we span. It was actually a tyre on the grass. And then at this point, I took my hands off the wheel because I was just so depressed at the situation. I'd fought so hard, all for that. Oh my god, no. The tyre glitch has extended to the red flag. Are you kidding me? The tyre glitch has extended to the red flag. I'm done. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. We're restarting lap 27, 11 laps left, and we're having to start on mediums. Thank you for nothing. Thank you for nothing, red flag. We've got a 10-second penalty as well. This race has gone from in the bin to looking good to in the bin again. Zandvoort's a bit of a roller coaster circuit, and my emotions have gone through a roller coaster because this race has been an utter roller coaster as we go to 5 red lights again. And we're underway for the last 11 laps, and it's still raining. We're on new dry tyres. It's all slippery around us. Verstappen neck and neck with Lando. We're down the inside. We're having to jostle for position with Lance Stroll, of all people, and Carlos Sainz. Lance Stroll, our racing rivalry, is heating up here. Lance Stroll comes for the dive bomb. What's happening here? Where has he come from? Where on earth has Lance Stroll come from? Someone answer me. Russell's P3, then Lando's P2. Oh, the tyres are so cold. We've got a 10-second penalty that we have to either serve in a pit stop or at some point it will be added to our race time. Sainz with the same penalty, but the tyres are stone cold because we haven't had a formation lap like we did the start of the race to warm them up, and I'm really struggling for front end grip. Oh, big snap, big snap, and now Sainz is through. The Ferrari is going to squeeze by, and now we're being swarmed. Lance Stroll, Lance Stroll's tapped us. Stroll, we're being ping-ponged around. I'm literally being bullied by the AI now. Lance Stroll tapped us. The only reason we didn't spin it fully was because of Sainz, but I've got no grip. I've got no grip. These guys are now literally driving like it's fully dry for them, and I'm just struggling. I'm the only car struggling. This is the opposite of what happened at the start of the race, where I actually had some hope of driving well in these conditions, because for me it's fully into still. It is, as we come in. It's another pit stop, and we have the 10-second penalty, of course. I mean, that's fair enough. I did obviously cause a collision with Hamilton and the red flag, so that was my fault. That was my mistake. That was fair play. But if we had just started on Inters, though, like, I could have maybe made up the 10 seconds somehow in 11 laps. I don't know. But now it's looking bleak. This is... and I've crossed that. I don't even care anymore. I just don't care. This has gone so badly wrong. I can't believe I was so delusional as well. At one point, when we were leading there, I thought, you know what? We could get all the way to the end. We could do it. And then it just went away as quickly as that delusion came in. And this is how bad my luck was this entire race. This is how I knew the whole time we're probably doomed from the start. Because a late safety car occurs. Okay, I thought, okay. This is a chance to catch up with people. Let's pit in for softs, because Mark has been banging on about it's dry enough. I think it's time to go to dries. If you feel confident, go to slicks. Go to slicks. So I thought, okay, I'm going to listen to my engineer, because to be fair, he's been saying it's raining at the start of the race. So I thought, okay, apart from the AI drivers, he does know what's going on, so maybe he's onto something. Let's go on to slick tyres. So we come into the pits again, but there was a pit stop issue on the rear end, so we lose some time. It's a 4.7 pit stop, and as we come out the pits, look at the top. Safety car in this lap. I've not even exited the pit lane, and the safety car is coming in because it's right at the end of the race. So the game is trying to hurry up the safety car period. It's not the usual 2 laps of safety car like there usually would be. So I'm here, and by the way, they're here. this is where the rest of the grid is. They are coming around the final bend to start the lap, to start green flag racing. Oh, it's so ropes. I'm 34 seconds behind. In hindsight, maybe I should have just stayed out and tried to catch the safety car. But I actually was so far behind because of my first pit stop onto Inters and the 10-second penalty after the red flag that I actually probably wouldn't even have caught the safety car train without the extra pit stop. Yeah. After all of this chaos as well, Lando on pole, etc. Once again, Max Verstappen, he is too bloody inevitable in real life and in the game here as he gets P1. And I mean, I'm not even in the driver in the championship fight. Lando is. I can't imagine how annoyed he must feel here. It's the same podium as the real-life Canadian Grand Prix, which is a bit of a wet affair, although it's in a different order. It's Verstappen ahead of Russell instead of Lando, who's down in third place. Even worse for Lando to lose more points to Verstappen, and it's going to be the Dutchman that takes the home victory.
Ah, yes. Nice job, nice job.
Well done, mate.
We caught that simply lovely.
And for us, meanwhile, the only consolation I can take is it was actually the right time to be on the softs. Finally, it was the right time to be on dries, because here I am on hot lap mode. I basically saved up all my battery, and I thought, if I can't do anything, I'm going to get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so I don't lose pace stats on the overall rating. That's how bad the race went. I thought, the only silver lining is I won't lose pace stats because of the glitch on the pace stats, because I can set the fast lap. What a miserable end.
A difficult race then on a circuit that demands complete concentration, but they've persevered to take the win here today.
Well, that's 2 race wins in a row for them. I think they'll be really happy with that. I mean, 1 race win is great, but to have 2, you know that you've got it. You're a little bit more comfortable in your skin. This is a great sign of maybe what's to come next.
We've still got a long way to go in the season, don't get me wrong, but we are, me and Lando, him more so than me, we're really going to have to step it up. The upgrades that we've still got pending, they're going to have to come in good. We're going to have to make some more upgrades, because even if we are ahead of the Red Bull and the R&D chart, Max is just so good of a driver, overall rating. He's still winning these damn races, and it's a real tough challenge. It's not going to be easy. I think maybe some of you thought, oh, it's a guaranteed, you know, oh, Lando can really fighting for the championship now that he's winning races, etc. But as quickly as Lando looked in control, maybe with those 3 wins in a row, it's not looked good now here with Verstappen getting 2 wins in a row. Yeah, the only solace is I'm now in a championship rivalry with the 7-time world champion, and I am beating him right now on points already in this rivalry. So that if we beat him, that'll be a big booster to our overall rating. And despite all the hardship in this race, we gained experience, awareness, pace. The only thing we lost was focus and racecraft, but we did go back up to 79 rating. So not all was lost in the race. It wasn't a total loss of a race. We still gained overall rating, which is still a positive for our career journey, and we did all the specialist goals, so at least that's something, but guys, if you have enjoyed that very chaotic episode, then be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.